Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, March 4th, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going over some updated information on the magnitude 4.6 earthquake that occurred at 5:55 a.m. this morning in a community in Alberta, Canada, named Red Deer. You know, folks, let me first start out by saying my initial report this morning, I didn't think that there was anything abnormal about it. This region of Canada does have some earthquake activity. They do have some seismic activity. That much we know. And I didn't think that reporting on this earthquake was going to stir up so much frustration in the, I guess, the USGS troll community. About 1 hour, about 1 hour after reporting on this earthquake, I was answering a lot of emails and also inbox messages on the Planet X News Facebook page. And then, all of a sudden, I started getting all of these really intense messages from people that were just outright calling me a liar. This event did not happen. I mean, it was absolutely amazing that just reporting on this very strange magnitude 4.6 earthquake, that people would go out of their way to call you a liar. And the information that I was using was coming directly from a Canadian government website and some local news stations. So I guess we were all in collusion and we were all lying about the blackout, the loss of electricity, and the fact that there really was a magnitude 4.6 earthquake. And it caught a lot of people by surprise. And then I had to take care of a few things. I was still digging into some information. The video was already posted on my YouTube channel. Several hours went by, and a few of our subscribers told me, "Hey, Scott, you should look at some of the comments under your video about that earthquake in Alberta, Canada." So I did just that. And I could not believe that some of the people, well, they're just basically complete idiot trolls, and, claiming that, again, number one, this earthquake didn't happen. Number two, this was caused by fracking. It was a fact, telling me to get my facts straight. Several very strange comments telling me that I know absolutely nothing about earthquake activity, and if I want to learn, I should contact Mary Greenlee and listen to her YouTube channel. I know Mary Greenlee. I listen to her from time to time. But folks, I've been studying earthquake activity for more than 15 years. Dr. Albers and I have collaborated on multiple articles. We've included background information on seismic activity that we have researched in several of our books. And then the comments were coming out about Dutch synths. And, I guess I didn't get to watch Dutch's report. I respect the man. But, folks, not all of these earthquakes that occur around our regions are due to fracking. I mean, just because there are fracking sites around the area doesn't mean that these events are all attributed to fracking. Take it from a man who was in the fracking industry and the drilling industry. I spent 5 years on major crews with major companies here in the United States. I was highly trained. I held 13 certifications, and I fully understand the magnitude of fracking. I studied it. I was employed in that industry. Now, again, I respect what Dutch Since says. I don't know if he's ever worked in the fracking industry. But again, ladies and gentlemen, not all of these earthquakes are related to fracking. So, hate to be so long-winded here, but I had to get that out. These comments, it was like the USGS troll community came right out of the woodwork and straight into the comment section of my video reporting on this event. Now, when I reported on it, folks, it was in its infancy. Once again, I'd like to thank Jessica up there in the Red Deer area. She actually tipped me off to what happened. And she sent me some links, and I went directly into the information. Now, after I did my video, about an hour later, I contacted the Natural Resources Office in Canada, got their telephone number, and I used my press credentials for the MFA Media Group, where I do news work and updates and articles for their website. And I spoke with a lady, and I told her who I was, and I wanted information on this earthquake. And I also told her that I was hearing some rumors about this earthquake being related to fracking. She put me on hold for like 5 minutes, and I think I was transferred, and another lady came on because it seemed like she had it seemed like a different voice. And she said, hello. She said, okay, you have some questions about this earthquake. Yes. She said, can you hold for just 1 second? And I said, sure. She came back onto the phone, and all of a sudden, it was like she was whispering. Her voice got very low. And I announced who I was, and, she was very, very nice. And she told me point blank, she said, sir, she said, the initial reporting that this was a fracking incident are completely false. So, I hate to be blunt at this point, but USGS troll babies, this is coming directly from a Canadian government office. Okay? They have an investigation ongoing right now to find out if fracking was a factor. In some of the news reports, it was stated that a fracking company reported the earthquake immediately. Okay, they are mandated to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, for you that believe this had anything to do with fracking, that's your opinion, and you're free to have that. But if you want to get into investigative journalism, do it right. Get your facts straight. In the early reports, it said that it was a total blackout. After speaking with this lady, she informed me that the earthquake, when it occurred, they had a very hard time pinpointing the epicenter. And if you watched my earlier report on this, I also said that. There were multiple reports of epicenters in different locations. They finally found the epicenter where the earthquake occurred. It wasn't near this fracking site. Even though the fracking company reported it and they ceased operations, but they're supposed to do that. They felt the earthquake, so therefore they stopped drilling. They stopped fracking. You don't want to have an explosion. If in fact your fracking rig has created this situation, you want to stop all of the pressure that you are producing down inside of the earth to fracture the shell or fracture the ground way down underneath. So they stopped, and they did the right thing, and they contacted the Natural Resources Office in Canada. They told them that they felt the earthquake. That's it, folks. I then was reading some more of the comments and some more of the inbox messages, people calling me all kinds of names, and I'll be quite frank with you, that doesn't bother me. I'm used to all of that. But one guy said, "Listen, you effing idiot, I was sleeping during this earthquake and I didn't feel a thing, and I live in Red Deer." I'm like, okay, maybe you're a sound sleeper. Maybe you didn't feel it, but a lot of other people felt it. He returned my message and called me some more names and told me that I was nothing but a fearmonger and a disinformation agent and that I should be jailed. Oh, God. Okay, well, head on down to the news stations there in Edmonton and Calgary and jail all of those news reporters that picked up on the story hours after we started reporting on it, because people were calling in. They were calling in and they were saying, wow, we really felt this. Now, folks, for any of you that live in this area, if you did not feel this earthquake, hey, that's fantastic. I love it that you didn't feel it. But for the folks that did feel it, it was very alarming, because this was a strong earthquake. And the reason why it was a strong earthquake is because it was very near the surface. Very near the surface. So therefore, the shaking and the rattling, well, you feel it a hell of a lot more. But I find it very strange, very, very strange, that the government troll operations came out immediately to denounce that this event even happened, or it had nothing to do with seismic activity. Come on, let's get real. I was able to obtain the waveform data on this earthquake. I have compared waveform data from fracking mishaps to actual seismic activity, natural earthquakes. And there is a big difference in that waveform. So for people that say that I don't know anything about seismic activity, I think I know quite a bit. And that is the reason why I went back and I started comparing these waveforms, and the waveform that was posted by the Natural Resources Office in Canada shows beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was an actual seismic event related to some possible plate movement. And remember, this area is kind of close to that northern section of the Rocky Mountains. And again, if you do know something about earthquakes and seismic activity and you do your homework, you'll go back in time and you'll look at that data. And the majority of the earthquake activity is in that region of the northern part of the Rockies that stretches through this area of Canada. So as I learned more and more about the Red Deer area, it looks like an absolutely beautiful community. Maybe one day I'd like to, visit. But it's a prairie area, and as I learned more, they actually refer to the area as prairie land because, it's kind of flat, wide open. And, over history, there have been some mild, very small earthquakes. But what's sparking my interest now, folks, is like the little cover-up for this magnitude 4.6. And then just after this earthquake occurred, down in Colorado, a bigger earthquake occurred. And I was just reviewing some data before I came onto this live stream, and it seems like there is a line of earthquakes that have basically come straight down from this region in Canada all the way down into Colorado, right through the Yellowstone region, and again, down into Colorado. Now, seismic activity does travel through the earth. I don't need to contact Dutch Cinch or Mary Greenlee to figure that out. I've done my homework over the years, and I fully understand seismic activity. What I don't understand is why the kind of a cover-up with this earthquake. Now, I'm not saying the news agencies are covering this up, because the news agencies in this region are actually trying to get to the truth. They are trying to figure it out. Just give me 1 second, folks. Stay right there. I just wanted to pull up the live chat here real quick. Now, let's go ahead and get to some of these reports. And right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the Calgary Herald. And this was their headline today: fracking connection probed in 4.6 magnitude earthquake near Sylvan Lake. Okay, and they give a Google map view of the area. Here would be the Red Deer area right over here. I presume that would be the Sylvan Lake area over here. Looks like a beautiful area. Definitely prairie land. And the article goes into saying the Alberta energy regulator is working to determine if fracking operations caused an earthquake near Sylvan Lake and Red Deer on Monday. The Natural Resources Canadian office said a magnitude 4.6 earthquake rocked parts of central Alberta just before 6 a.m. The federal department's website said the tremor was classified as a light earthquake. Now, that just kind of goes to show you that, the government offices like to downplay this stuff. But to the people who were startled by this at 5:55 a.m., well, they didn't feel that it felt like a light earthquake. And again, this is to stop instant panicking. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people did panic. And what I found out later on, that this wasn't a total blackout. I think there was approximately 4,600 people that were without power, and the initial earthquake tripped a transformer. And the transformer actually did its job. Shut down the power, and that's what they're made to do. So it goes on to further state that the AER has confirmed Avesta Energy had been fracking in the area just prior to the quake. Now, ladies and gentlemen, fracking goes on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no shutdown, not even for holidays. But if there are any accidents or earthquakes or tremors, that fracking is mandated to stop. Instantly stop. But even though the fracking procedure may stop, they cannot release all of the pressure that they have already pumped into the ground. So stopping the actual procedure doesn't really mean anything, because that pressure is already in the ground and you can't just pull the plug and release it. Okay, so it goes on to say that the AER said the earthquake was reported to them by the company 20 minutes later at 6:20. And again, folks, if you know anything about the procedures in fracking companies, if they feel an earthquake, if they feel a tremor, they have to stop what they're doing and they have to report it. If they don't report it, they can get in some trouble. They could get fined. They fine companies here in the United States. I was on one drilling site down in West Virginia where they did not report a very, very mild earthquake, and they were fined $125,000 by the EPA in West Virginia. $125,000. How'd you like to write that check out? But it says we are currently reviewing the event to determine if the incident is due to hydraulic fracking activities or natural causes. And this was a lady who is a spokesman for the Alberta Energy Regulating Committee, office. Now, getting back to this, it says the regulator said Vesta has stopped work at the site while the AER investigates whether fracking led to the quake. Then it goes on to state that Earthquakes in Canada Earthquakes Canada, I guess it's a website, initially had trouble pinpointing the earthquake, locating its first northeast epicenter near Red Deer, then south of the city. Then the most recent update had placed it 19 kilometers west of Red Deer, near Sylvan Lake. The earthquake occurred about a kilometer below the surface. Just as I said, folks, when these earthquakes are felt very shallow near the surface, you feel more of the energy. So as I was talking in my report this morning, I was going by initial reports. And again, I was getting different coordinates where this epicenter was. And that was another comment that somebody had sent inboxed me on our Planet X News Facebook page, calling me an effing idiot. And they even told me that I was a retard because I didn't even know where the earthquake occurred. And that just sounds like, the little USGS troll babies getting out there and, trying to mess with your mind. So I was going by all of the initial information that was coming in. As you could clearly see, there was some trouble locating this actual epicenter. So, number one, I'm not a retard. You shouldn't use that word. People may be politically correct and offended by the terminology of that word. But again, they state there were no immediate reports of damage, but power was knocked out to about 4,600 people in this area. And they said that the disruption for the power outage lasted less than an hour. But again, folks, if it's 5:55 a.m., normally people are sleeping or just getting up for work, and all of a sudden your house starts rumbling, glasses start shaking, and then your lights go out. Oh, but what? You're not supposed to panic, especially if you live in an area that's not really prone to this size of earthquakes. So the information goes on to state that the USGS website says that earthquakes similar to this one that struck Alberta has a sensation like a heavy truck striking a building. It can rattle windows and may break some dishes or windows. Oh, but the people in this area should not be worried, nor should they be startled. Folks, that just goes to show you that there is such a war on alternative news, alternative reporting, and like the instant cover-up, reporting on an event like this, which is quite strange. Now, I heard from so many people in this area with normal comments and questions, and they all told me the same thing. They were scared to death. They have felt small little earthquakes before. Small. But nothing like this. It really freaked everybody out. Is there a high possibility that plates are moving? Tectonic plates underneath this region are moving. Because if that's the case, folks, the people in these communities in Alberta and just at the base of the northern part of the Rockies, they may be in for some more seismic activity. Maybe something bigger. So being prepared is a pretty damn good idea. Going back to 2016, March 31st and March 31st of 1997. 2 time periods, 2 significant earthquakes. So again, it does seem from time to time there is some seismic activity in this area. But this was a 4.6 magnitude earthquake, very, very close to the surface. If in fact their investigation shows that it did not have anything to do with this fracking site that wasn't really near the epicenter, then we're going to have to put this area kind of on a watch list. That's telling me that something way down below is shifting. Something is going on. Here's a photograph taken by Tracy Madison, and she says, yep, hashtag Sylvan Lake had an earthquake, crazy loud and very strange feeling. Your house shakes. Well, I think that may either be a crack inside of her house, it looks like, or possibly outside. So this earthquake was enough to, cause a little bit of damage. And again, there were a lot of people throughout this region that immediately went to Twitter, and they were posting their tweets talking about what they just felt. Iris Chalmers, what the heck just happened? Our whole house shook. Earthquake in Sylvan Lake, Alberta. And, the list just goes on and on with the tweets that people were putting out. And then you have whoever the smart guy was that sent me the really bad inbox message calling me a mother effer and telling me that he was sound asleep in his bed in Red Deer and he didn't feel a thing. Well, maybe he was drunk from the night before and in a nice sound drunk stupor that maybe he didn't feel it. But everybody else felt it except for this one guy. How does that saying go? Whatever. It hit the news. And then later on, this news report came out, and this was sent over to me, and I watched it, and I tried to contact this news agency. They had me on hold for like 15 minutes, and I said, to hell with it. I'm not going to sit here any longer. But I want you guys to listen to the report. It was kind of interesting, but I wanted to share it with you. So let's check this out.
Seismic Geological Survey of Canada on the phone. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us this morning.
Now, real quick, just let me set this up, and I hope you guys can hear it. The connection between the GSC lady that's calling in, she's on the phone, so it's a little hard to hear her. You may want to turn your volume up to listen to what she has to say, because This sounds like the lady that I was speaking with after this event occurred. And this is also the lady that I think she was whispering when she was talking to me and saying that there's no evidence that this has anything to do with a fracking incident. Kind of weird conversation. Again, she was lowering her voice while speaking to me. But let's check this out. Let's listen. Turn your volume up if you have to hear what she has to say.
Good morning, Dallas.
So tell me what happened. What do you know?
Well, at 5:55 this morning, there was a magnitude 4.6 in the vicinity of Red Deer, Alberta. This was felt throughout Red Deer, Sylvan, and surrounding regions. You probably know more than I do about how it was felt, but people have heard a noise. I know some power went out somewhere, and people felt things shaking.
So what are the next steps for you?
Well, we'll take a little closer look at this earthquake event over the next couple days and weeks and see if it can tell us anything else. At the moment, we just believe it will be this only event. I'm not expecting many or any aftershocks.
Is this an unusual, was it alarming to you to hear that it came from the Sylvan Lake area this morning?
Yes and no. No, or yes, in that there's not often earthquakes in Alberta, but no, there have been earthquakes associated with tectonic activity in the foothills of the Rockies to the east of the Rockies. And so over the years, there's been a number of earthquakes in the past.
We were reporting on an earthquake, 2.2 magnitude out of Salmon Arm over the weekend. Would there be any relation at all to that?
No, there's no link to the Salmon Arm earthquake.
Okay, so what do you want people to know then who are pretty alarmed about what happened this morning?
I expect that they won't feel anything much larger than this. That being said, Mother Nature always has her own ideas. Earthquakes occur every couple years in the foothills of the Rockies. This one's slightly larger than normal. In terms of our building code is quite good in Canada, and something like this, I wouldn't expect damage to anyone's homes. There may be damage from things that fall off shelves and things like that, but I don't think people necessarily need to be worried about that aspect.
Yeah, about like structural integrity or anything like that.
Correct.
Can we face any
That being
aftershocks
said,
or any more
this is a
activity?
great time just to practice earthquake preparedness, to make sure you do have an emergency kit for your home. Earthquakes aren't your only natural disasters, but to make sure that you do have an emergency kit available from outside your house in case you can't get back into it, or in case your power goes out at home, things like that. I'm sure people have been started thinking along those lines already this morning.
Yeah, some good reminders there as well. And Timmy, just any aftershocks or anything else we can expect activity-wise?
It remains to be seen, but at this point in time, it seems like I would not necessarily expect any more activity.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us this morning on this developing story that we are getting out of Central Alberta this morning.
Real quick, folks, I don't know how analytical all of you are, but I'm very analytical, and I listened to this telephone conversation, I think 4 or 5 times, and you can see the lady that was calling in was quite nervous. Now, you could think of it 2 ways. Maybe she was nervous because she was on the news, or she was watching very carefully what she was saying. And she contradicts herself several times in this very short telephone interview. Oh, there's nothing to worry about. We're not expecting any aftershocks. We're not expecting any more seismic activity. And then she goes and says, oh, well, you guys better practice earthquake preparedness. Okay, that's some good advice. I'm going to put the link to this news report in the live chat. After this live stream's over, I want you folks to do your own little bit of homework go to this article, excuse me, and listen to this conversation again. Listen to this conversation 3 or 4 times, and then you'll see what I was picking up on it. And this lady sounds like the lady, excuse me, this sounds like the lady that I was speaking to when they transferred me. It did not, she did not announce her name, but it sounds like the lady that I was speaking to. And again, when I first introduced myself, she said, "Oh, can you hold on for just 1 second?" And then she came back on the phone, and it almost sounded like, she was speaking very, very low or whispering. And I found that very, very odd. Very odd. But let me put this link in the live chat, and you guys can check it out and do your own homework. See what you think. Let me go ahead and put this in there. You guys go ahead and check that out. We'll put it in there one more time. And we'll move on to another report that actually supports a little bit of the fracking theory, but then in the end, again, a lot of contradiction. And once again, for a lot of the keyboard warriors out there that are absolutely saying that this had everything to do with fracking. Frack. Well, unless you're part of the investigative team within the Canadian government that's looking into this incident, you don't really know much more than what I know. So how can you definitively say that this was a fracking occurrence? Folks, all my years in this business, all my years in this research, I've never seen a fracking incident produce a magnitude 4.6 earthquake. Usually they're quite small. 1, 1.8, 2, 2.5. That's about the range. You also have to understand about how much pressure that a fracking rig is putting into the ground. And the depths. And the angle. So again, if you want to bring that keyboard warrior status to me, I'll debate you on the subject. No problem. But don't sit there and lie to the people and say that this was a fracking incident, because you yourself do not know. And I'm getting pretty sick and tired of every time there is an incident in the United States, whether it be in Canada or anywhere else, you have these I call them government troll operations, because they're organized. And they come in there into the comment section and they denounce everything that you're saying. They try to make you look like a fool. But we as a people are much smarter than that. So if some of you are newcomers and you don't know about that type of an operation within social media, you better learn. Because these people are put into place to change your mind, cloud your thoughts, move you to the side. We can't let that happen. There is an absolute war on alternative media. There is an absolute war on the truth community worldwide. And I'm sick of it, and I'm ready to do battle. That's a fact. Now let's take a look at this report that came out later on from Boom 101.9. And this gives a fracking twist. But listen very carefully to the end of this report. I'm going to go ahead and play this. If you can't hear it too good on your cell phone, your computer, turn your volume up. Let's take a listen to this.
When we think of the wide open prairies, we don't usually think of earthquakes, but they are more common than you may believe. In fact, of the roughly 2,800 earthquakes recorded in Alberta over the past 3 decades, almost half of those have occurred on prairie land. And although there is a possibility that tectonic plates are shifting and causing earthquakes on the prairies, researchers suggest in many cases fracking plays a role.
Well, what we've seen starting in about 2013 in Western Canada, so parts of British Columbia as well as parts of Alberta, is that we have seen more frequent earthquakes of about this magnitude, and they're related to oil and gas activities.
Hydraulic fracking involves pumping water, sand, and chemicals into the ground under extreme pressure, which cracks the rocks and minerals, releasing the oil and gas trapped inside. Human-caused earthquakes occur much closer to the surface and are felt more intensely compared to a natural quake of the same magnitude. It is important to note that fracking was occurring in the Red Deer area Monday morning, but the Alberta energy regulator hasn't confirmed that that was the cause of the quake, which shook Red Deer with a magnitude measuring 4.6. The last earthquake of that magnitude on Alberta prairie land rattled Fox Creek in 2016 and was recorded as caused by fracking. Tiffany Lise, Global News.
So there you go, folks. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this here real quick. And, I mean, that just goes to show you that the things are still up in the air.
Earthquakes Canada has confirmed that size 6.
There's another report. Oh, okay. We'll listen to that in a second. That just goes to show you that right now it's in the early infancy stages of their investigation. What I'm worried about is, will we be delivered the actual truth? And again, a magnitude 4.6 earthquake caused by fracking, I've never heard of it. I mean, unless somebody wants to give me some kind of definitive proof that fracking causes magnitude earthquakes of this rate, I don't know about that. I don't care if people take offense, whether it be Mary Greenley or Dutch Sense. I don't think that this earthquake had anything to do with fracking. Even though the earthquake was very close to the surface, throughout the entire globe, in seismic zones, we have earthquakes that are very near the surface, whether they be small or big. And these earthquakes near the surface cause the most damage, the most loss of life, and they are the ones that are felt the most. So this report just came out at 9:56 p.m. And I haven't listened to it yet, but let's see what they have to say.
Earthquakes Canada has confirmed that seismic activity has been detected near Sylvan Lake and Red Deer, Alberta. Officials say it was a 4.6 magnitude quake.
Our social Matthew
Oops.
in the newsroom. Matthew.
Sorry about that. My little cursor went haywire.
That seismic activity has been detected near Sylvan Lake and Red Deer, Alberta. Officials say it was a 4.6 magnitude quake.
Our social news host Matthew Conrad is in the newsroom. Matthew, you're seeing many messages come in from the Sylvan Lake area.
Yeah, there was lots of tweets this morning, guys, beginning around 5:55, 6 a.m. A lot of people waking up to some rattling and shaking and then having a power outage. So they quickly took to Twitter and Facebook and posted up about this. So let's go a few of those things here right now. Trending here in the city. So Sylvan Lake, that was one of the top trending ones. Marianne says a 4.6 magnitude earthquake in Red Deer and Sylvan Lake around 6 a.m., 35 kilometers east-northeast of where I live. Never felt a thing. I certainly want to know more about this. And then, Mark, did you feel the 4.6 earthquake at 5 a.m. this morning? And there was a few other tweets here that people were sending in saying that their power outages, that their power went out and that their power is actually back on now. And there was a couple schools as well in the Sylvan Lake, Red Deer area that were now saying that they have regained power. Another school was saying that their power should be expected back on around 9 a.m. So, yeah, a lot of reaction to this one so far this morning. It'd be good to get some videos perhaps sent in to us. So if you do have anything you do want to share, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, send those in to us and then we can share them out onto the show. Guys, back to you.
People talking about how they were woken up, how they were shaken out of bed this morning. So that's pretty alarming.
4.6 in no way on a higher end, but at the same time you feel shaking, especially in our neck of the woods, and it would be alarming for sure.
In your neck of the woods, absolutely. Once again, folks, a little bit of contradiction there. I had early reports that said the power was restored in less than an hour, and they were just reporting that the power will be restored by 9 a.m. tomorrow. Maybe a little miscommunication there. Who knows? If anybody that lives in this area, if you have additional information on this, or you just want to let me know what you felt, I'd love to hear from you. Go to our Planet X News Facebook page. The link is in the description box under all of our videos. Drop me an inbox message. Let me know what you felt. Let me know what you're finding out. I would much rather hear from the people than catching these events from the news, because a lot of times you can see we're getting conflicting information coming in about this event. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm making a super big deal out of this 4.6 earthquake, because there are bigger earthquakes occurring worldwide. But this is a very strange area for this earthquake to occur. And if in fact there is some plate movement that's going on underneath this region of Alberta, then I would like to know, is there something looming that can cause further destruction? I think we all have a right to know. But if you guys noticed in the segment that they just did, they scrolled past the trolls that were leaving derogatory comments under that initial tweet. And again, people just don't troll me. Oh, these trolling operations, they troll all of the news stations, or, sometimes it's just sick, demented people that have nothing better to do. Like, you saw the one tweet and the reporters say that one guy in Red Deer said he felt absolutely nothing. Several other people stated the same thing. But how could you actually believe that when just about every single person in this area said they felt something? And even if the earthquake was on the outskirts of this community, people still felt it. 4,600 people without electricity. Maybe you weren't one of the people without electricity, but 4,600 people were. So let me give you a little bit of advice for these people that just act completely irrational. Don't be stupid. Other people were frightened and scared from this event. We have to take that into consideration. Don't be a troll, baby. Be a stand-up individual. Man, I tell you, man, people... We'll go ahead and jump out of that. And once again, I went back to the NRC, the Natural Resources Canadian office, and no new updates at all. Apparently, they did pinpoint the exact region. And in the earlier report and the earlier map, where my cursor is right now, where that red star is, the location has changed just a little bit. And they put the star where this location is. So, it was just west of the Red Deer area. That 4.6 shook that community. People felt it. There's no doubt about it. But to lay the blame immediately on fracking is asinine. Especially when a government agency is telling you we're in the preliminary stages of our investigation, and as of right now, we can't confirm that. But yet, keyboard warriors, maybe some in the chat, definitely some in the comment sections of my video this morning, they know better. Those keyboard warriors know better than the government agency. Just goes to show you the disinformation campaigns that are laid out in the moment of a tragedy or an event like this. That's sickening. Just absolutely sickening. So once again, folks, if there's anybody in this area that has additional information, get back to me on the Planet X News Facebook page. The link is in the description box. And if you don't follow Planet X News on Facebook, start today. Hit that like button. And I'm going to show you guys something also when it comes to Facebook. Let me just go ahead and tune in here to Facebook. We're going to jump over to Planet X News here real quick. And I want to show you guys something. And this is something that Facebook implemented quite a while ago. Oh, I can't do it because I'm on my own page. Let's see here. We'll delete this and we'll go to Fox News here real quick. I want to show you guys something. And this is to show you how to make sure you get updates from Facebook pages that you follow. Because Facebook's algorithm only gives you about 10% of the people that you follow, or businesses that you follow, or Facebook pages that you follow. So pay close attention to what I'm about to show you. You see that follow button? Okay, you hit the like button. You see that follow button. As soon as you click on that follow button, leave your cursor right there. Now, there are some cell phone apps that won't allow you to do this. So you literally have to do this from a computer. More evilness from social media. But you go to that follow button, leave your cursor there, and wait for the drop-down menu to come up. When that drop-down menu comes up, you see that button right there that says on, highlight posts. That means that you're only going to see 10% of those posts. Click on it. Just like that. And you see what it says now? It says all posts. That was Facebook's little gift to all of us. They didn't announce it. They just did it. And then people all over the world, billions of people, were wondering why they weren't seeing posts from family members. They weren't seeing posts from pages that they follow. And there are billions of people still out there on this planet that don't know that that is the reason why. So, take the time. Go through the Facebook pages that you like and you follow. Go to that following button. Click on it. Wait for the drop-down menu to come up. Move down, and you could even do that right there. You can click on See First, and that means all of the posts from Fox News or Planet X News will show up in your news feed, and you will get a notification about the post, video, whatever it may be. We're always being tricked by social media, and it's a damn shame. Social media has turned from being something that was just so fantastic to something that's now so damn evil. And more people rely on social media for their news. It's a damn shame. But I thought that I would give all of you guys that tip, because I am always getting inbox messages on the Planet X News Facebook page and people telling me, hey, Scott, I didn't get any notification to that report. I didn't see that video. Are they filtering your content, or what are they doing? Yeah, Facebook does do a lot of that. There's just no doubt about it. It's really hard fighting these social media giants, but that is one way that you can guarantee that you see the information. I share all of my information on the Planet X News Facebook page. I also have a public figure page that you guys can follow and subscribe to. I share a lot of political news and world news on my public figure page. Anything related to events like the tornadoes that ripped through the South, and God bless the people that have lost their lives. So far, I think the count's up to 23. I really wish that I could go into and show you guys all of the devastation. I've already been warned this afternoon to not delve into that on YouTube. They are hammering people that are showing the destruction. It is now part of their policy within YouTube. They don't want people showing natural disasters. Yeah. What a way to censor real news. What a way to censor important news. Yeah, just leave it to mainstream media. They'll handle it. They'll tell you the damn truth. I don't think so. But Dr. Albers shares all of her videos directly to our Planet X News Facebook page. And I posted this yesterday, and I pinned it to the top of our page. You see what it says? Don't miss a post. Click following and choose see first. Just like I showed you guys on the Fox News Facebook page. Dr. Albers has several new articles that have just been posted. And check it out, folks. If any of you using your computer, if you know about this start a watch party, it's pretty cool. It allows you to click on this feature. It will post to your Facebook page. The video will start, and you can actually invite a bunch of people from your Facebook friends list, and you guys can all join in. I think that's actually a pretty good feature of Facebook. I don't believe that I am on here right now complimenting these folks, because I usually don't do that. But pretty good feature. I noticed that a lot of the followers of Planet X News and our news group, MFA Media Group, have been using this feature for quite some time. I think it's pretty cool. It's about one of the only positive things that Facebook has done for us. This was a report that I posted a little while ago, about an hour before this live stream. And this was the Alabama governor. He was holding a news conference after the deadly tornadoes that ripped through these parts of Alabama and Georgia. I did have some reports coming in that there were also tornadoes that spawned in parts of North Carolina. And you know, folks, the bad part about all of this, yes, was the loss of life. But something, I've been coming to terms with now since this event happened, this tornado event, is that one day before this happened, I was holding a live stream here on Planet X News, and I was talking about data that I was seeing, because I'm an avid weather watcher. I've been watching weather and interested in weather for more than 25 years now. And kind of gets me a little choked up, because I was mentioning in my live stream that some of the information that I was seeing on these weather models had the deadly potential to spawn tornadoes throughout that region of Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina. And then many hours later, it happened. And it actually sickens me that YouTube filters and censors my YouTube channel because maybe they deem it alternative news, conspiracy news. But I'm not dealing in any conspiracy. The research that I've done and Dr. Albers has done on Planet X is fantastic observational evidence. If you guys have been following me for some time now, you know what I've shown all of you. We've given you hard, cold facts, not a damn conspiracy. The conspiracies lie within the governments and the social media companies. The conspiracy doesn't lie here with Planet X News. I'm very saddened by what has happened, in Alabama and Georgia. I was listening to some earlier reports that were on the Weather Channel, and they were talking about the people that are now deceased from this event. And they were talking about the death of children and many, many people hurt, devastation, destruction. If only these people knew what was coming. I think that those are some of the damaging effects of social media censorship. If you think I'm wrong in saying that, you must be demented. It's a damn shame. There was one report that was on the Weather Channel, and one of their reporters was standing out in front of a police officer's home. His police car still parked in his driveway, and his home completely destroyed. And they were reporting on the fact that they were able to pull this police officer out of his completely destroyed house and rushed him to the hospital. I haven't heard of an update on his condition yet. But whenever the reports got to the point where they were talking about the loss of life of children, that chokes me up, man. Little kids not able to grow up. We're going to have more of this, ladies and gentlemen. This is not just going to be one isolated incident. I've been talking about the transfer of Tornado Alley towards the east. I talked about it weeks ago. You can say I don't know what I'm talking about, but the facts are the facts. The tornadoes, the tornadic locations are moving east. Why? I've expressed this and I've shown all of you in the past several live streams. It is because of the movement of the jet stream. The jet stream is sinking very, very, very low. I talked about that in September, October, and November, leading up into the winter. All of the data that I was seeing was showing this very, very deep dip in this jet stream. And the jet stream's very, very erratic. It's going to continue. So remember my words here this evening. If you live in these areas, Louisiana, Tennessee, even Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, the Carolinas, that whole region is going to be under the gun for very serious tornado activity throughout the whole entire spring, summer, and fall of 2019. Mark my words here today. It's a shame. A damn shame. Now I've got myself upset because I hate to hear about the loss of life. Furthermore, I hate to hear the loss of life of children. You know, last year when there was that earthquake in Mexico, right outside of Mexico City, that was very, very devastating. Some of the pictures and video that was coming out of the destroyed buildings. One of the buildings had a daycare on the first floor. One picture that is now burned into my memory, and I just can't get this image out of my head, were the little legs of a little girl, no more than 5 years old, sticking out of the rubble. And yes, she was deceased. Not very many children made it out of that earthquake event. Maybe some of the people at Facebook are listening to me now. Maybe some of the people at YouTube are listening to me now, you snowflakes. Stop censoring people. People have the right to know. People have the right to listen to whatever information they want to listen to. That's why you have a subscribe button. That's why you have a follow button. I still think we live in a free society where if I click on the button that says subscribe, I'd like to see what I've subscribed to. If I click the damn follow button, I feel that I should see what I'm following. You get my drift? But I doubt very highly that they'll pay any attention to what this one man says. Ladies and gentlemen, after this live stream, say a prayer for those folks that lost their lives. Say a prayer for their family members. Because when the sun rises tomorrow, whether it be the real sun or the fake sun, whatever you want to call it, when that light rises tomorrow morning, those people will not be able to hug and kiss their loved ones anymore, including those children that were lost. Think about that. For you people that like to troll YouTube channels and Facebook pages and Twitter feeds, maybe one day, just maybe one day, one of these events is going to touch your life in that way. Think about that. Maybe that will shut you up and open your eyes. I hate to be so blunt, but those are the facts. Sad to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being with me this evening. I'd like to thank our moderators in the live chat. And folks, keep an eye in the sky. Pay very close attention to your weather for now on. Become a weather watcher. Your life may depend on it. If you can also do me a favor, share our videos, share our articles that come from the our Planet X News website. I actually did a fantastic article, an in-depth article. I worked on it for, probably more than 12 hours. And I'll put the link in the description box. You guys can all check it out. If you're interested in Planet X News and Planet X research, check this article out. It's right on the Planet X News website. I will put the link for this specific article in the live chat. And if you guys have some time and you want to do some reading, check this article out. And this article, I posted it late this morning, and this went in depth. I named the article "Planets Beyond Neptune: The Search for Planet X." And within this article, folks, I just did not give my opinions. I did a lot of research. I went back a long time to scientists and astronomers who started researching this subject matter. Percival Lowell, Robert Harrington, many others. And this article goes on. It talks about a lot of information. And I did not just include my biased opinions. I included all opinions. And all of the information is right here. And the article is very long. But if you read all of this, this will give you a better perspective on the history of the search for this object or objects. You know, folks, I didn't just start this. This dates back all the way close to the 1850s. A ton of information here. And again, I just didn't give up my opinions on this. I researched a lot of scientific opinions that date back decades. And now the information is getting updated over the course of the last several years. And it's showing you that, I'm doing my homework. I'm out there searching every possible avenue that I can go down. Because I want more information, and I want more information for each and every one of you. So there is a ton of good reading here. And even after I produced the article, I sat down and I read it again for myself. And I actually picked up on a few things. And I'm actually going to be looking into those things that I picked up on. It also goes into talking about further analysis of Planet 9, that hypothesis. It goes into some of the probabilities. And, this was something that was very intriguing, was this diagram showing you a lot of different objects, planetary objects, exoplanets, Earth-sized objects that are beyond Neptune. Here's our little teeny tiny little solar system down in there where my cursor is. You have the hypothetical Planet 9 orbit, but you have confirmed objects, which are the solid lines, and their orbits around our sun. So these weren't my discoveries. You have people like Mike Brown, the famed astronomer, deemed the Pluto killer. Yeah, that's the guy that got little planet Pluto kicked out of our solar system. What a moron. Leave little Pluto alone. But anyhow, he discovered Sedna, he talks about Sedna, talks about its 12,000-year orbit. And, here's Sedna right there in purple. Where does Sedna orbit? Oh, Sedna orbits our sun. So does 2007 TG. So does 2004 VN. So does 2013 RF. Yeah. So for people to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that there are no other objects that orbit our sun, well, maybe you would like to contact Mr. Astronomer Mike Brown and Konstantin Abadijan, his associate. Maybe you'd like to go over to their Facebook pages or their websites and troll them. Call them liars and fearmongers and tell them that their information's fake. Nothing orbits our sun. There's no rogue planet. There's nothing else out there. It's impossible. There's a lot of very, very good information right here. And for all of you that would like to expand your mind and expand your knowledge on the subject, read this article and share it. Share it with others that may have some doubt, that may have some questions, or that are interested in additional scientific and astronomical information related to this subject. I have included at the bottom of this article a whole host of references, and where you see the references in red, those are links. Okay? If you want to dip further into your scientific research, click on those links, check out all of the information, and look how many there are. 94. Very, very good article. Planets Beyond Neptune. The Search for Planet X. It's right here on www.planetxnews.org. And once again, folks, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I hope that you were able to take away some good information that I was able to research on this earthquake in the Alberta region of Canada, magnitude 4.6, hitting the very nice community of Red Deer. And once again, folks, be very, very safe. Watch your weather. And most of all, stay tuned to Planet X News. Thank you very much, folks. Take care.